G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to run through my dual battery system that I've installed on my Mitsubishi MQ Triton. So I've decided to go with a behind the seat dual battery, and it was a lot of fun doing it. So let's get into it and have a look at it. So here we are with the finished product, the installed dual battery system. And if you're wondering whether it's worthwhile going down the path of a dual battery system and the expense and all the time and effort that's involved in it, especially if you do it yourself, I went with Esky and Ice for many years, and it was good. But having installed a dual battery system, honestly, dual battery with a fridge freezer in the back, I wouldn't go back now. It just makes life so much easier. So if you're trying to decide whether you want to go down that way, I can highly recommend it, because it gives you so many more options when you're out in the bush or away camping with the family. So all right, let's go through exactly how I did this. Okay, so here we have our slimline battery and battery tray. So I've gone with a kick-ass 120 amp hour deep cycle AGM. That'll give me roughly 50 usable amp hours of power that I can draw from my accessories. And I've gone with the slimline battery tray that suits that particular battery. And obviously they're designed to go behind the seat, that's why they're slimline. So in order to install this battery tray in behind the seat here, there's a little bit of work required, and I've mounted some wood just underneath the battery tray down here, so that the battery tray itself actually screws to the wood. And I've also put a riv nut on a factory mounting point behind the battery tray here, so you can see it's actually quite solid. It's not going anywhere. So I'll show you how I did that in a second. So you can see here that I've just basically taken all this out and literally just glued 3 pieces of MDF into the inside the ribs there, and that's what I've screwed the battery tray to. So I'll just add a riv nut over here to this piece, and that'll just add a bit of support from the back side of the battery. Okay, so once you've got your battery tray mounted in the back and your battery installed into the tray, and you've got it screwed to your MDF at the bottom, and if you choose you can riv nut it to the mounting point at the back of the tray, then you've got to run your connection over to your BC-DC. So that's our cable that runs from here, runs up across here through this electrical conduit and over to our BC-DC that we've mounted on the other side. Okay, so over here we have our redarc BC-DC. This is the brains of the operation, and that's our 12 volt DC to DC charger. So you can see here that it's mounted on a sheet of MDF, which I've glued to the actual back of the wall here. So you can't put any screws through the back here, because this actually goes to the outside of the cab. So you don't want to be putting any screws or any holes in that sort of stuff. So what I've had to do essentially was take this moulding out here that you can see along the side here. I've had to trim that a little bit. So out of the factory that moulding comes out to about here. So as you can see, it gets in the road of what I wanted to do here. So it's pretty easy to do. You just basically get a Stanley knife and just trim it back, bit by bit until you get it to where you need it to be. Still looks neat and tidy, no problems there. As far as wiring goes, you can see you've got your loom coming out the bottom of your BC-DC, and So this is our main charge line that goes over to our second battery, and I've brought that around here and connected that to a 40 amp thermal fuse. So that's our line from our BCDC, and this cable here goes across the other side to our dual battery, so that's what actually charges the battery. Over here we've got our solar input for the BCDC, so if we had a solar blanket or a solar panel on the roof, we can actually connect that up to here. It'll take an unregulated solar blanket, so you can just connect that straight up to there, and the BCDC will see that you've got solar connected, and it'll draw its charge for your second battery off your solar blanket. So that works really well. I've tried that. Fucking thing. So this connection down here, this is the one that actually comes from our start battery, which obviously is connected to our alternator, so that's where the actual power to run the BCDC and charge the second battery comes from. So I've run this in 8BNS, and it goes under this moulding here, along the skirting inside the vehicle, all the way up to the front and through the firewall, and then connects to our start battery. I've also got another fuse in the front just where our start battery is to protect that length of cable. So over here we have our earth cable for our solar, so that's just mounted to a factory hole that's just underneath this moulding. So you need to make sure you've got good earths for everything along the way. So it's really important. If you're having any issues with charge or the system not working properly, there's a good chance that one of your earth cables is the issue, so just go and check all of those guys. So on an MQ Triton, your firewall entry is on the right hand side of the vehicle, and my cabling from my BCDC runs along the side of the vehicle inside the cab and comes up under the footwell and through the firewall entry just here. You'll see here then the cable comes across and runs over the other side where the start battery is. This is my cable from the driver's side where it came through the firewall, runs across over behind the start battery here. You can see this is our 8BNS cable that runs down the back. This is our ground, and you'll see our positive comes down here and connects to our 40 amp thermal fuse, which then runs through to the start battery. So that's how the power from the alternator comes all the way through to the BCDC. It's really important that you fuse your system as close to the start battery as you can, so that'll actually protect the whole length of that cable run right down to the back of the vehicle. In hindsight, I would probably run 6BNS cable if I was to do this again, just to eliminate a bit more voltage drop, but at the end of the day this works fine. So the bill for 6BNS cable is massive. We're at the fun part now, guys. We've got our BCDC installed, we've got our second battery, our 120 amp hour installed. Now's the fun part, and this is completely up to you and what you want to do with this battery system, what accessories you want to run. I wanted a connection down the back of the tray so that I could run my fridge. I wanted some USBs down there, and I want to be able to charge my camera batteries when I'm out camping. So what I've done here is I've gone with another 8BNS cable, which is just connected to an Anderson plug, and that runs down through a factory hole in behind this moulding here. And I've just put a rubber grommet in there just to protect that cabling. This runs in some automotive conduit to go through the wall at the back here. So you don't actually have to drill any holes to get through this firewall. You can actually use the pre-existing factory hole, which is really good. And you'll see here I've got a inline blade fuse. Now it depends how you want to do that. I'm not pulling massive amperage down the back of the vehicle, so I think a blade fuse will be fine. Here we are at the back of the vehicle in the tray here. So you'll see here I've got my accessory pack, which is just a standard Nava accessory that you can buy from anywhere. We've got a SIG socket. We've got 2 USB ports in the back here, so if I want to charge my phone or whatever else, I can just plug them straight in there and not have to worry about my start battery. And down the bottom here we've also got our voltmeter, so this is really handy if I'm perched up camping for a couple of days. I can literally just look at my voltmeter, and from what voltage it shows me I can tell exactly what the status of my second battery is. If I need to plug in the solar blanket, or I need to kick the engine over for 5 or 10 minutes to put a bit extra charge in, I don't have to worry. I can just have a look at that and it'll tell me where I'm at. So I've got my cable from my second battery running out through the factory hole on the inside of the vehicle, and it runs down along the chassis rail and comes up through the bottom of the tray here, and obviously to these 2 points here. So the most difficult part about that is just drilling the hole through the bottom of your tray. So in order to do that, I've used one of these stepping drill bits. So you can see here, if you have a look at the bit, you can see the scale on the side here. So that'll actually tell you how many millimeters your hole is. And I've just brought it through at 20 millimeters. Bought a 20 millimeter grommet, and that's allowed me to bring my cabling up through the bottom of the tray. And I know that no water or anything's going to get it through that seal. It's not difficult, guys. You just take your time with it. Do it one bit at a time till you're happy with it. It'll be nice and neat. It'll look good, and it'll create a really good seal. So there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Anything you need to know about what I've done here, if you have any questions or anything you want to know, just drop a comment in the section down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. More than happy to give you any advice on doing this. It's been a lot of fun. I've saved a lot of money doing it myself, and really enjoyed the whole process. So I can highly recommend, have a crack at it. You won't regret it. Okay, thank you very much for watching.